If 2x minus 3y is equal to 4, then we are asked to find the value of 9 raised to the power of x over 27 raised to the power of y. Then we're asked to find the value of 9 raised to the power of x over 27 raised to the power of y. Now, to simplify this expression, the first thing we need to do is to try to make the base to be the same. So 9 and 27 can be easily transformed into base 3. So 9 in index form to the base of 3 is going to be 3 to the power of 2, because when you multiply 3 by itself 2 times, it's going to give us 9. Then all raised to the power of x over 27 is the same as 3 raised to the power of 3, then all raised to the power of y. So according to the power law of indices, when you have a base raised to power and all is to another power, so we are free to multiply the two power. So this is going to be equal to 3 raised to the power of 2 multiplied by x is going to give us 2x over 3 raised to the power of 3 multiplied by y is going to give us 3y. Now, as you can see, we have the same bases and each base have exponent. So we recall division properties of indices. When the bases are the same and there's division, we're going to write one of the base, then we subtract the power. So the first power is going to be 2x minus the second power, which is going to be 3y. Then if you look at from the equation, we are given that 2x minus 3y is the same as 4 from the equation here. So this is going to be, in place of 2x minus 3y, we're going to replace 4. So this is going to be 3 raised to the power of 4, and 3 raised to the power of 4 imply 3 is multiplied by itself 4 times, so which is going to give us 81. So therefore option D is going to be correct answer. X plus y is equal to 10, x multiplied by y is equal to 20. Then we are asked to find 1 over x plus 1 over y. So we are given 1 all over x plus 1 over y. Now, to simplify this, we need to find the LCM. So in the denominator, we have x and y. So we just multiply them. So it's going to give us xy, then division. Xy divided by x is going to remain y. Then y multiplied by 1 is the same as y. Then plus xy divided by y is going to be x. Then x multiplied by 1 is the same as x. So from here, if you look at the equation, we are given that x plus y is equal to 10. Remember that x plus y is the same as y plus x, and x plus y from the equation is given as 10. So that means y plus s also is going to be 10. So in place of y plus x, we're going to substitute 10. So this is going to be equal to 10 divided by xy from the equation is given as 20. So divided by 20. So everything is going to be 0 cancel 0 is going to be 1 over 2. So therefore option C is going to be correct answer. If 4x plus 2y is equal to 6, then we are asked to find the value of 16 raised to the power of x multiplied by 4 raised to the power of y. Now, to simplify this from this equation, the first thing we need to do is to try to make the base to be the same. So here we have 16. 16 and 4 can be easily transformed into base 2. So 16 in base 2 is the same as 2 raised to the power of 4, then all raised to the power of x, then multiply by 4 is the same as 2 raised to the power of 2, then all raised to the power of y. Then from here we recall power properties of indices. When we have a base to the power and all to the power, the 2 power is going to multiply by itself. So this is going to be equal to 2. 4 multiplied by s is going to give us 4x multiplied by 2, then 2 multiplied by y is going to be 2y. Then here we're going to recall multiplication properties of indices. We say that when you have the same base and separated by multiplication with exponent, we are going to write one of the base, which is going to be 2, then we add the 2 power. So the first power is 4x plus the second power, which is 2y. Then if you observe this from the equation, we notice that 4x plus 2y from the equation is given as 6. So in place of 4x plus 2y, we're going to replace 6. So this is going to be 2 raised to the power of 6, which is the same as 2 multiplied by itself 6 times. And when you multiply 2 by itself 6 times, it's going to give us 64. So therefore, the correct answer is going to be D. If square root of 9 plus square root of x is equal to 6, then x is equal to what? So we're going to solve for the value of x from this radical equation. So we're given square root of 9 plus square root of x is equal to 6. To solve for the value of x, first thing we need to do is to remove this big square root by square both sides of the equation. So we also square the right hand side so that this square is going to eliminate the square root. In the left hand side, we are going to left with only 9 plus root of x, which is going to be equal to 6 square implies 6 multiplied by 6, which is going to give us 36. So the next thing we're going to do is to subtract 9 from both sides, or we just take this 9 to the right hand side of this equation. So we're going to have square root of x is equal to 36, and when this 9 cross to the other side is going to be negative 9. So we're going to have square root of x to be equal to 36 minus 9 is going to give us 27. Now to get the value of x, we are going to square both sides of the equation in order to eliminate the square root. So we square the left hand side, we do the same thing to the right hand side, so that this square is going to cancel the square root. In the left hand side, we're left with only x, which is going to be equal to 27 square imply 27 multiplied by 27, which is going to give us 729. So if you look at the option D is the correct answer. If 2 to the power of x plus 2 to the power of x plus 2 to the power of x plus 2 to the power of x is equal to 2 to the power of 7, then what is the value of x? So if you look at this equation, the left hand side of this equation, we are adding the same thing 4 times. So this is going to be the same as what? 4 of 2 raised to the power of x, which is going to be equal to the right hand side, which is 2 raised to the power of 7. So the next thing we are going to do is this 2 raised to the power of 7 imply 2 multiplied by itself multiplied by itself 7 times. So which is going to be 4 into 2 raised to the power of x is equal to 128, because 2 multiplied by itself 7 times is going to give us 128. So the next thing is to divide both sides by this 4, because we are looking for the value of x. So let's eliminate this 4 first. So we divide the left hand side by 4, the right hand side by 4, so that this 4 is going to cancel this 4. So in the left hand side, we are left with 2 raised to the power of x, which is going to be equal to 128 divided by 4 is going to give us 32. Now, if we have an equation like this and the unknown is an exponent, we need to try to make the base to be the same. So in the left hand side, we have 2 raised to the power of x. So in the right hand side, we can convert 32 into base 2, which is going to be 2 raised to the power of 5, because when you multiply 2 by itself 5 times, it's going to give us 32. Now, as you can see now, the bases are the same, and in an equation with exponent, when the bases are the same, then we can cancel out the base and equate the power. The first power is x, which is equal to the second power, which is 5. So therefore 5 is the value of x that satisfies this equation. So option D is the correct answer. If 5x plus 3y is equal to 3, then we are asked to find the value of 32 raised to the power of x multiplied by 8 raised to the power of y. So the given expression we are asked to find from this equation is 32 raised to the power of x. This is dot multiplication, so it's the same as multiply by 8 raised to the power of y. Now to do this, the first thing we need to do is to try to make the base to be the same. So 32 and 8 can be easily converted to be in base 2. So this is going to be 2. Then how many times can we multiply 2 by itself to give us 32? So it's going to be 5 times. Then all raised to the power of the initial power, which is x. Then multiply by 8 is the same as 2 raised to the power of 3. Then all raised to the power of y. So the next thing we're going to do is to multiply the two power together. So this is going to be 2 raised to the power of 5 multiplied by x is going to give us 5x. Then multiply by 2. Then 3 multiplied by y is going to give us 3y. So recall multiplication properties of indices. When you have an exponent with the same base and there's multiplication, all we're going to do is to write one of the base that are the same, which is 2. Then we add the power. So the first power is 5x plus 3y. But if you observe this from the original equation, you notice that 5x plus 3y is the same as 3 from here. So that means anywhere we see 5x plus 3y, we're going to replace 3. So this is going to be 2. In place of this is going to be 3 from the equation. So, and 2 raised to the power of 3 imply 2 multiple 2 multiple 2 in 3 places, which is going to give us 8. So therefore, the correct answer is going to be option B. If 81 raised to the power of a plus b is equal to 27 raised to the power of a plus 2b, then a is equal to what? So we're going to find the value of a from this exponential equation. So the given equation is what? 81 raised to the power of a plus b, which is going to be equal to 27 raised to the power of a plus 2b. If you are given an exponential equation, the first thing that will come to your mind is to try to make the base to be the same if possible. So if you look at these two base, we have 81 and 27. 81 and 27 can be easily transformed to be in base 3. So let's make the base to be the same. So 81, we are going to make it to be in base 3. Then how many times can we multiply 3 by itself to give us 81? So it's going to be 4 times. Then multiply by the initial power, which is a plus b. Everything will be equal to 27 is the same as 3 multiplied by itself 3 times. Then everything to the power of a plus 2b. So the next thing we're going to do, as you can see, the two bases are not the same. And in an exponential equation with exponent, when the bases are the same, then the power is also the same. So we're going to equate the power. The first power is 4 into the bracket of a plus b, which is equal to the second power, 3 into the bracket of a plus 2b. Now we need to expand this bracket. 4 multiplied by a is going to give us 4a. Then 4 multiplied by b is going to give us 4b, which is equal to 3 multiplied by a is 3a plus 3 multiplied by 2b is going to give us 6b. Now remember, we are asked to solve for the value of a from the equation. So what do? We should move the term with variable a to the left hand side of the equation, and we take the remaining one to the right hand side. So here we have 4a, then we have 3a in the right hand side. So when it cross to the left hand side, become negative 3a, which is going to be equal to, here we have 6b, and when we take this 4b to this side, it's going to become minus 4b. So 4a minus 3a is going to be 1a, which is the same as a, equal to 6b minus 4b is going to be 2b. So therefore the value of a is going to be 2b from this equation. So therefore option a is the answer. 25% of 80 is equal to what percent of 40? To solve this question, the first thing we need to do is to transform this statement into mathematical statement. So the first line of the question read 25% of 80. So this is going to be 25% of, in mathematics imply multiplication, of 80 is equal to what percent of 8 or 40. So we don't know what percent. So that what we can use x to represent the unknown. What percent? That is going to be x percent of mean multiplication of 40. So this is the interpretation of this statement. So now we can solve for the value of x from this equation now. So 25% imply 25 divided by 100 multiplied by 80, which is equal to x percent is the same as x divided by 100 then multiplied by 40. So here we have this 0 is going to cancel this 0. 25 divided by 10 is going to give us 2.5. Then 2.5 multiplied by 8 is going to give us 20, which is equal to, this 0 will cancel 0. X multiplied by 4 is going to be 4x then over 10. So what are we going to do next? We are going to cross multiply. So this 20 can be written as 20 over 1. 1 multiplied by 4x is going to give us 4x, which is equal to 20 multiplied by 10 is going to give us 200. Then what do? We divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 4. So the left hand side by 4, the right hand side by 4. So that this 4 is going to cancel this 4. Then we are left with x in the left hand side, which is equal to 200 divided by 4 is going to be 50. So therefore the value of x from this equation is going to be 50%. So the correct answer is going to be option C. What is the solution of x to the equation 3 raised to the power of x plus 2 equal to 9 raised to the power of 4? So the equation given is 3 raised to the power of x plus 2, which is equal to 9 raised to the power of 4. So whenever you are given an exponential equation, all you need to think is how to make the base to be the same if possible. Here in the left hand side the base is 3, and in the right hand side the base is 9. So 9 and 3 can be in the same base, which is going to be the base of 3. So here we're going to have 3 raised to the power of x plus 2, which is equal to 9 in base 3 is the same as 3 raised to the power of 2. Because when you multiply 3 by itself 2 times, it's going to give us 9. Then all raised to the power of 4, which is the initial power. And recall the law of exponential equation. When the bases are the same, the power are also the same. So we're going to equate the power. The first power is s plus 2, which is equal to the second power. 2 multiplied by 4 is going to give us 8. Then what do? We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So here we have minus 2, minus 2. So that x now, this positive 2 and negative 2 is going to cancel. X will be equal to 8 minus 2 is going to be 6. So therefore, 6 is the value of x that satisfies this exponential equation, which is option B. If 3 raised to the power of x plus 3 to power x plus 3 to the power of x is equal to 3 to the power of 5, what is the value of x? So the given equation is 3 to power x plus 3 to power x plus 3 raised to the power of x equal to 3 raised to the power of 5. So if you observe the left hand side of this equation, we are adding the same thing 3 times. So this is going to be 3 of 3 raised to the power of x, which is equal to 3 raised to the power of 5, meaning 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 in 5 places. So this is going to be the same as what? 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 multiplied by 3 is 81. Then 81 multiplied by 3 is going to give us 243. So that is what we mean by 3 raised to the power of 5. Now, as you can see, we have 3 at the back of this bracket. So we need to eliminate that 3. So we divide the left hand side by 3. We do the same thing to the right hand side, so that this 3 is going to cancel this 3. So in the left hand side, we are left with only 3 raised to the power of x, which is equal to 243 divided by 3 is going to give us 81. Now from here, we can try to make the base to be the same, because 81 and 3 can be in the same base. So in the left hand side, we are going to have 3 raised to the power of s, which is equal to, in the right hand side, we can write 81 in base 3. Then how many times can we multiply 3 to give us 81? So it's going to be 4 times. And remember, in an equation, when the bases are the same, then the power is also the same. So the first power is s, which is equal to the second power, which is 4. So therefore, 4 is the value of x. Option C is the correct answer. 3 raised to the power of x minus 0.5 all square is equal to 1. Then what is the value of x? So the given equation, we are given 3 to the power of x minus 0.5 raised to the power of 2 equal to 1. Remember, when we are given an exponential equation, the first thing that will come to your mind is how to make the base to be the same. Do you know that this one can also be written as 3 raised to the power of 0, because any number raised to the power of 0 is the same as 1. So we use 3 in this case because the left hand side, the base is 3. So therefore, we can write 1 as 3 raised to the power of 0. So we're going to have 3 to the power of x minus 0.5 all square, which is equal to 3 raised to the power of 0 in place of 1. Now, as you can see, the bases are the same. And in an exponential equation, when the bases are the same, then the power is also the same. So we're going to equate the power. So the first power is s minus 0.5 all square, which is equal to the second power, which is 0. Now what do? We need to take the square root of both sides in order to eliminate the square. So we're going to take the square root of the left hand side. So we also do the same thing to the right hand side, so that this square is going to cancel the square root. In the left hand side, we are left with only x minus 0.5, which is going to be equal to square root of 0 is going to be equal to 0. Then what do we do next? We're going to add positive 0.5 to both sides of the equation, so that we can have only x in the left hand side, because minus 0.5 is going to cancel positive 0.5, so it will remain only x, which is equal to 0 plus 0.5 is the same as 0.5. So therefore, 0.5 is the value of s from this equation, which is option B. If 4 raised to the power of x is equal to 2 raised to the power of 10, then what is the value of x over 3? So the first equation is what? If 4 raised to the power of x is equal to 2 raised to the power of 10, then we are asked to find the value of x over 3. So all we need to do first is to find the value of s from this exponential equation. And to do that, we need to make the base to be the same, because 4 and 2 can be written as the same base. So now we're going to make it to be in base 2, right? So 4 in base 2 is the same as 2 raised to the power of 2, then raised to the power of x, which is equal to 2 raised to the power of 10. Now, as you can see, the bases are the same. And if the bases are the same, then the power are also the same. So the first power is 2 into x, which is equal to 10. So when the bases are the same, we just cancel out the base, then we equate the power. Now we're going to look for the value of x by dividing both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. So we divide the left hand side by 2, the right hand side by 2. So that this 2 is going to cancel this 2. We are left with only x in the left hand side, which is equal to 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. So therefore, the value of x is going to be 5. But remember, we are asked to look for the value of x over 3. So in place of x over 3 here, we're going to replace 5. So in place of x is going to be 5, then over 3. So the answer is going to be 5 over 3, which is option B. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 8 root x. For what value of x does f of x is equal to 48? So we are given two equations. The first equation is f of x is equal to 8 root of x. So and the second equation is what? F of x equal to 48, right? So we are asked to find the value of x, because if you look at the second line of this equation, after the equation we are asked to like find for what value of x does, for what value of x, that means we're going to look for the value of x where f of x is equal to 48. So in place of f of x here, we are going to replace 48, because f of x is given as 48. So in place of f of x, we write 48, which is equal to 8 root of x. Now to get the value of x here, the first thing we need to do is to divide both sides by 8, which is this number that is attached to root x. So we divide the right hand side by 8, the left hand side by 8. So this 8 is going to cancel this 8. Then 48 divided by 8 is going to give us 6, which is equal to root of x. Now to get the value of x, we need to square both sides of the equation in order to eliminate the square root. So we square the left hand side, we square the right hand side, and also we square the left hand side, so that this square is going to cancel the square root. So in the right hand side, we are left with only x, which is equal to 6 square implies 6 multiplied by 6, which is going to give us 36. So therefore, 36 is the value of s, giving f of s is equal to 48 from this equation. So the correct answer is going to be option C. If x minus 2y is equal to 7, what is the value of 3 raised to the power of x over 9 raised to the power of y? So we're asked to find the value of 3 to the power of x over 9 raised to the power of y. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is to try to make the base of this term to be the same. So in the first term, which is the numerator, we have base 3, and the down we have 9. So we can easily write 9 in base 3. So in the numerator, we have 3 raised to the power of x over 9 in base 3 is going to be the same as 3 raised to the power of 2. So that when you multiply 3 by itself 2 times, it's going to give us 9, then all raised to the power of y. Now, from here, we're going to recall division properties of indices. When the bases are the same and there's division, we write one of the base and we subtract the power. So the first power is x minus the second power, which is 2 multiplied by y, which is the same as 2y. Now from here, if you observe this, we can see from the equation clearly that x minus 2y is the same as 7. So that means in place of x minus 2y, we're going to replace 7. So this is going to be 3 raised to the power of 7. And here is the final answer. So option B is the correct answer. If t greater than 0 and t square minus 4 is equal to 0, what is the value of t? Now we are given, the equation given from this question is what? T square minus 4 is equal to 0, where t is greater than 0, right? So now let's solve for the value of x of t from this equation. So the first thing we need to do is to add 4 to both sides of the equation. So when we do that, we're going to have t square negative 4 positive 4 is going to cancel, equal to 0 plus 4 is going to give us 4. Now to get the value of t, we need to remove the square by taking the square root of both sides. So we take the square root of the left hand side, we take the square root of the right hand side, so that this square is going to cancel the square root, Then in the left answer, we are left with only t, which is equal to square root of 4 is going to be plus or minus 2. So t now is going to be positive 2 or t is going to be negative 2. But if you look at the question say if t is greater than 0. So this negative 2 here is less than 0. So the correct answer is going to be positive 2. So option C is going to be. What is root of 16% minus 4%? So we are given this expression root of 16% minus 4%. So this is percentage problem. So when you have a number percent is the same as that number divided by 100. So this is going to be root of 16 divided by 100 minus 4% is the same as 4 divided by 100. And in this case, when you have a square root of two numbers separated by division, that means we can take the square root individual. So when we take the square root of 16, it's going to be 4 over square root of 100 is going to be 10 minus 4 over 100. Now, what do we do? Here we just simplify and subtraction of fraction, right? We find the LCM. LCM of 10 and 100 is the same as 100. Then we put division. 100 divided by 10 is going to be 10, and 10 multiplied by 4 is going to give us 40 minus 100 divided by 100 is 1. 1 multiplied by 4 is going to be 4. So this is going to be equal to 40 minus 4 is going to be 36 over 100. And 36 over 100 is the same as 36%, because 36% imply 36 divided by 100. So option D is the correct answer.